Yo. Welcome to this episode of the Paint to the Pit podcast, episode 7, Halloween edition. It's your boy Dwayne, the man of the hour, Omega the Iota. Got Jason Torres in the building. We out here,
The
Paint
Kick
to the
Crusaders.
Pit. We excited. Halloween edition. How y'all feeling? I got on the pimp outfit. Just doing my little thing. The little thing I do.
Yeah, I don't know whether to call you Randy Savage or the Godfather, bro.
I'm the Godfather, baby. I'm the Godfather, baby.
You got to hit that theme music.
Oh my god.
The money team. We are the money team. But we're excited to be back. Excited to talk to y'all about what we've been up to. Some great sports topics to discuss. We're gonna kick things off with Crown Jewel. So we know WWE had its annual Saudi Arabia event yesterday, which featured some great matches. We had the Bloodline match. We had the Bianca Belair match, Seth Rollins. So we're just gonna go through that event, just talk about what we liked, what we didn't like, just what we see from those particular storylines moving forward. And it's dope. This is the first time the actual first match is the match that we actually wanted to talk about. So they kicked off the event. WWE kicked off the event with the original Bloodline, which featured, the Tribal Chief OTC Roman Reigns, Mr. Yeet, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso versus Solo Sikoa, one of them Tonga brothers, and Jacob Fatu.
One of them Tongas.
One of them Tonga brothers and Jacob Fatu. So I'm gonna send it over to you, Jay. Just what was your thoughts on that match? What do you think in terms of the future and what you think of the future of that storyline?
It's cool to see it unfold. I mean, I felt like at this point, like it's us less being interested in the match itself and more just what's gonna happen after or like during this whole, in between matches, right? Like we know the match is gonna happen. Somebody's gonna win. Like I don't know if it really mattered that Solo won here. Maybe it does, but we see the introduction of Jey Uso back in the fold. Now we got Sami Zayn back in the fold. Sami Zayn is kind of already causing a rift, which was kind of how he was when he first started in that whole segment. We sort of see now like they're emphasizing where Jey Uso's at in his career since Roman has been gone, because we kind of see that little separation, right? Like he's not coming out with Roman Reigns, only Jimmy is. He gets his own entrance. He gets the full entrance. He's coming out from the stands. Like he's really like the main event Jey Uso persona. And you can see it on Roman's face. It's taking him a while to really realize, like, oh shit, like he's his own man now. Like I can't, I can't just order him around as I used to, as we've seen in the beginning of the match with they wanted to tag. Roman was asking to get tagged in. Jey was like, nah, I'm gonna just take this one, and he's like, oh shoot, and now they kind of got that little beef over that situation. But as far as the storyline, yeah, like I like where it's headed. It seems like they're setting up the whole War Games thing. I think that's gonna be making a comeback. They're gonna do the Bloodline versus Bloodline again. Sami Zayn, I don't know. I like it, but it's gonna be interesting to see how that plays out. I don't know like what's his length within this storyline. I know he's obviously they need that fourth member, right? But I don't know as to what it pertains to like how that's gonna play out for him after, because it's like there's gonna be an endpoint to that, I believe. So I'm interested to see how that goes. So yeah, how you feel?
As far as I feel like the match was a good storyline builder. I feel like it left a lot of things unanswered as well as answered. I like the fact that we finally got to see the old bloodline versus the new bloodline. I like that they finally got the face off so we can see what it's like as far as where we currently are with the storyline and things of that nature. I'm happy that they got the face off and things of that nature. I felt like the entrances was a little drawn out. We're gonna have to figure out something with these entrances because they're a little drawn out.
Yeah, that's
I don't know if an entrance should take 20 to 30 minutes. Even seeing Jey Uso come from the crowd in Saudi Arabia, I was looking at how high he was in the air, and I'm like, oh Lord, that's a walk. You might as well did the ramp. But
it's gonna take him 15 to get to
Yeah.
the.
all the way around, I feel like it was a great first match. A great way to start the pay per view. Unexpected way to start the pay per view for sure, but definitely a great way to start the pay per view for the people in Saudi Arabia. Gave them something to really be high on to start off with, and that's very important, especially when it comes to starting the PLE strong and well.
I agree.
You know, you know, it's funny. It's
Real adding props.
all right. It's funny. All jokes aside, though, it's funny that you mentioned that, bro, because like I can't stop looking at old face.
I just can't.
All right, my fault. All right,
The
but
props.
on the real though, I do think one, that was a match that the new Bloodline had to win, right? Just for the storyline arc, you had to let that happen for whatever reason. You wanted to let that happen, right? But they had to win, right? And I think you could tell that the Saudis are spending a lot of money on these events or in sports in general, but specifically like WWE. I think that's why you saw everybody there, like all of the performers. I think specifically with this match moving forward, I think it's just trying to see where the Rock is going to fit into all of this, because he's coming back around. Who else are we adding to the fold? There's always the rumors and the everything that's going around on social media. But I thought the match went how I thought it was going to go. Solo getting the pin over Roman. I do think that means something, because I think in all of this we can't just lose Solo. I think and Roman coming back and that dynamic, and we know Simone Werewolf is probably who's really up next in terms of that faction and everything.
Yeah.
I just don't think we could just lose Solo. So I think them giving Solo that pinfall victory specifically over Roman, it'll give him some talking points for the next few months. So now Roman got to deal with being pinned by Solo. He got to deal with Jey Uso not tagging him in. He got to deal with Sami Zayn coming in and giving him the haluva kick at the end of the match. So I feel like there's so many different angles that they could do with this storyline. I really do hope that Sami turns. I don't want Sami with the original Bloodline. I think that will make for a much better story. I think it will give us the curveball that we was waiting for in this story. Because we all kind of thought it was just going, everybody come back together, rah, Sami the last one. They have that Survivor Series match. But it would be dope, maybe even in that Survivor Series match, if Sami Zayn turned, I think it'll just give us a whole nother dynamic to deal with. But all in all, I think the story is going kind of how we expected it. But moving on to the next match, we saw Bianca and Jade Cargill defeat Damage Control, Metaphor, and Chelsea Green and Piper Niven in a Fatal 4 tag team match for the women's tag team titles. Thought it was, just quickly give my thoughts on it. I thought it was a dope match. And I mean, kind of given what you can and can't do when you're a woman wrestler in Saudi, how you can and can't dress. I pay attention to all of that when they, specifically the women fight, like the outfits, everything, because how Saudi is restricted in that particular capacity. But that match kind of went how I thought it would. It was dope to see Metaphor. I love to see when you see more black women go into the fold and start being put in these main events and in these positions of where they could be seen and stuff. But besides that, I don't really think it's too much of a storyline there to address. Thought the match was good. Thought who Bianca and Jade was going to win it, and they did win it. So I'm just looking forward to seeing them two kind of go their separate ways, and for that feud to kind of take into account, because I feel like that's coming. But that's all I really had to say about that particular match. What you feeling about that match, Oh?
I feel the same way as you, pretty much. I think that there's not much story in the women's division, to be honest. It's just Jade and Bianca and everybody else. I think they need to find a way to add more nuance to the.
What happened?
I just think they need to add nuances to the women's division.
Nah, for sure, bro. I agree wholeheartedly, bro. Like, it's crazy times around here, bro. Like, we want to see, we want to see more. We want to see more. So I get it, bro. I'm with you. Like, I don't disagree because
What
I
type of
mean,
cigar is that? That's a Cuban.
yeah, you know how we do, bro.
Yeah.
You know how we do it here at Paint to the Pit. We only do the finest
Only the
of
father.
anything at Paint to the
So
Pit, bro.
sure.
So if you join in Paint to the Pit, subscribing to Paint to the Pit, commenting on Paint to the Pit. If you don't like the finer things in life, we don't want to talk to you. I'm just letting y'all know now. We don't want nothing to do with y'all. If y'all think, I mean, we can't do nice things, we don't want nothing to do with y'all. I mean,
So chain, yep. So the chain, bro. It's money team.
I'm money team, man. We really out here. My bad. Sorry. Let me refocus. Yeah, Jade Cargill. Yeah, Jade. It's always dope to me how amazing they could look no matter what type of outfits that they put on, right? Like even them onesies, I'm like, damn, they still look fire. Like, shout out to them though.
Yeah, the ring gear really been top 5 for that
Sure.
specifically. Because if you remember how they started off, they weren't just wearing like straight like just one color spandex suits looking.
Yeah.
At least they get to have rhinestones
looking
and shit now, right?
Look at this.
100%. Everybody want to see. And all right, now that we here, we gonna talk about it because we could just jump to that other women's match, which was, respectfully a waste of my time. Respectfully, waste of my time. I know we ain't got nothing to talk about that Bianca and Jay match. That was a feeling. I heard that was a feeling because Rhea Ripley got injured, and I hope Rhea Ripley get better quickly. But they said she was supposed to fight Raquel Rodriguez, and then she ended up getting like fracturing her orbital bone or something. So salute to her. But
not already.
Yeah. But I didn't want to skip over you, Jay. I don't know if you had anything to talk about with that Bianca and Jay match.
I just think it's just one of those matches that's needed. It's like they're trying to beef up the tag team division. I kind of understand it from that standpoint. You just got to throw names in there. I don't think there's anything other than that. It's just Triple H trying to figure out like how do we progress this? Because like I said, you got 2 titles there. Got to utilize them. Got to try to use the names that's hot. I think everybody involved in that match is a known name, and it's like you want to see them involved. So I think it's just good that they're using them. That's really about it.
Nah, for sure. Wholeheartedly agree. It's time, like shout out to. It's weird getting older in wrestling, right? Because then you just start watching people come and go, and you never really know when they coming or they going. So it's just like you deal with it, and then after a while, you realize, damn, like where the hell is Charlotte Flair? Damn, like when is Becky Lynch coming back? Damn, like what is going on? But then at the same time, you'll be excited that all of the women are getting an opportunity to showcase their talent. But I ain't gonna lie, I do miss Charlotte Flair specifically.
Hell yeah.
I just miss Charlotte Flair. She
Queen.
when they talk about the Roman Reigns got the 1,000 aura, in the women's division, Charlotte Flair got the 1,000 aura, the 100,000 aura. That's Charlotte Flair for sure. So we miss Charlotte. But moving on, we saw Seth Rollins. My guy, Seth freaking Mr. Monday Night Rollins go 1-on-1 against Bronson Reed in a match that, I was looking forward to personally, but would love to kick it off to you first, Jay, to see kind of how you feel about that match. Seth Rollins won via pinfall in that match. At the end of that match, after Bronson Reed got curb stomped, Seth Rollins is leaving the ring, and Bronson Reed is already back on his feet, staring down Seth Rollins. How'd you feel about everything that went into that match?
Damn. I'm gonna say I wasn't the biggest fan. I think like I don't know. Just for me, I'm so high on Seth Rollins, so seeing him in this match it makes me feel like it's a throwaway. No shade to Bronson Reed. I think he's a great guy, great talent.
For sure.
But it just felt like it was something put on the card. which I don't really like for Rollins. I think he deserves a little bit more. But then also it's like, how do you just insert him back into these higher tier pictures, like the title pictures, or like a feud with a bigger star, because he's coming off injury. He's been hurt most of the year, taking time off, or whatever reason that he's out. But yeah, I don't know. Like, just it's just another win under his belt, right? Like, it doesn't. I don't
Yeah.
think it adds to anything. And even when he spoke on the press conference after, he was like saying how hopefully he won't have to fight him again for some time, and like he did give a shout out to him actually, out to Bronson Reed. But it seems like he's kind of putting the cap on that feud. So I mean, I am
Yeah.
excited to see where it goes. I know Bronson is like he is a decent talent. It's nice to see him start to carve his own like path, and he's that the big brute guy that's gonna come out and just injure you for 12 weeks. But yeah, just I don't know. I'm just looking forward to see what Seth is gonna do next. Hopefully they start to move him. Like as we head towards the Rumble, they start to kind of throw him in that picture. It's like, all right, like he's a competitor, like he's still around. So.
No, 100%, 100%. What you feeling about that match, oh?
I think it's just good to see Bronson Reed get an opportunity to go against superstars. I think that's my biggest thing, being that he was like released like a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. So to see him get an opportunity to go
I didn't
against
know that.
superstars now and things of that nature and be back in the fold at a high level is just my biggest take from it. Shout out to him.
Yeah, no, for sure. Shout out to Bronson Reed, and like Jay was saying, it's just dope to kind of see Seth back around, him getting back into the fold. I don't know how y'all feel about it. I don't think the time is gone for that potential maybe 4 to 6 month feud with CM Punk, between him and CM Punk. I know with a lot of injuries and storylines being moved because of injuries and things of that nature, that that feud really didn't get to see the light of day. But I still think that's one that has a lot of paws meat on the bone that WWE can get a lot of, because that's just two marquee names. Yeah, I know that was pause, bro. That's why I said pause. But I know it was two marquee names. But shout out to Seth for getting that win. And again, I hope Bronson Reed can be a bigger star from it, and then Seth Rollins can kind of continue on his path. But it's always tough with wrestling, right? Because when people say hopefully they get these new opportunities, like what are the opportunities? And I think that's always a wrestling topic that people discuss and people say when a talent leaves or a talent goes to AEW or a talent gets released. It's like, oh, they weren't given the opportunities, but like where? Like WWE is like under like three umbrellas right now. You still got the tribal chief with Roman Reigns and his stuff. You got Cody, which it don't seem like they're taking that belt off of him anytime soon. You got Gunther, but it don't seem like they're taking that belt off him anytime soon. So like, where are all of these opportunities that people want some of these wrestlers to get? Like, cool, Bronson Reed moved on from Seth, but what does it look like next for him? Like he's not gonna get Gunther next. I doubt that. So what's next? But besides
Maybe
that,
Breaker. You think?
maybe. But like, I think that'd be a good feud. Actually, I actually think that. But who's playing the face and who's playing the heel in that feud?
Braun
Yeah.
Breaker.
It's
I think
just
Braun. I think
it's
Braun
just
Breaker
two
will switch
boots.
over, not immediately, but soon. I think it's about time for Braun Breaker to switch back over to being the face, because the
Yeah,
crowd, he undeniable with the
Yeah,
crowd.
yeah,
So
that's true. That's true. He does get a lot of
I
crowd
hope
support.
so. That's the
Yeah.
only way for me that match it kind of makes sense. But moving on to the next match, or if we want to call it a match because it was a match that never happened. But Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, that kind of, I felt
Oh
like
boy.
they sold that match in a way like Triple H came out. I'm trying to protect you from you, Randy, and you gotta, Kevin is in a different state of mind, and then Kevin come out, beat him up with a steel chair, whatever the case may be. I don't know, just everything about that for me. Just I don't have much to say on it. That's why I'm gonna just go first. But everything about that just seems rushed. Seems like we just that like everything is just moving so fast. Like from Kevin Owens beating up Cody to now he fighting Randy. Now at the next PLE, it's not even really a match. So we're gonna watch this feud potentially draw out to Survivor Series, and what does that look like? But I thought it was. I thought Kevin Owens was gonna win if there was a match that was gonna happen, but I'm just interested to see kind of where this go, what role Cody will continue to play in this feud because now that after he fought Gunther, ain't nothing left there to kind of do. They're probably not gonna be cutting promos with each other no more. Ain't no reason to. So that was that. How'd you feel about that particular? Can't call it a match, but how'd you feel about that, Jay?
Yeah, I mean it's just interesting because it's like you try to catch on to where they're getting at with certain stories. And that I feel is one of them that's just a little clouded. It's like, like you see Randy Orton sometimes he's like shading Cody Rhodes a little bit. It's like, oh, is he gonna turn on Cody Rhodes? But then you got Kevin Owens who just completely did like a 180, beating the shit out of everybody every other week. He don't really run matches or promos. He just coming up to fight.
Right.
And it's like it just makes you think like where that's really going.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wanna believe in it, but just for right now, there's nothing that like it just don't interest me. I like Kevin Owens, I like Randy Orton, but for where they at in their careers, it's just like why this route, and then how that relates to the WWE title. Like I don't even know what that means anymore, right? Like does Kevin Owens like is he gonna be beefing with Cody? Is that just a separate thing now? Is Cody just completely out of this? Like I don't know how they even gonna structure that heading into the next couple PLEs. So it's just something I gotta see, honestly.
Yeah. No, for sure, 100%. What you feeling about that? Oh,
I thought it was corny. For lack of better thought, I thought it was honestly just
Whack.
corny. I think it was really corny at WWE. I think they sold us a dream and gave us. I don't know. Because I don't know what's going on with Randy Orton. I think it's Randy Orton. I think his old ass is getting old
yeah,
rapidly.
yeah.
And I think he can't do as much as he wants to. So they have to figure out spots to put him in.
Nah, for sure,
That's what I think
for
personally.
sure.
And I think he might be injured again, maybe. But
Yeah, man, it's interesting with Randy because like I think the feud we all kind of fiending for is him and Cody. It just seemed like it makes sense, but it's gonna be sorry. The money piece fell. My fault.
The money.
My
Gotta
fault.
protect that,
My
bro. Protect that.
I gotta protect that. Come on, what we do is make money at Paint to the Pit. But yeah, gotta figure out what they doing. We looking for Randy and Cody. Like Kevin Owens is just like the guy that they just dangling around in that feud because it seemed like they got nothing else for him. But these last two matches, I figured I was gonna lump them together because these weren't really storylines. So WWE was presenting the inaugural Saudi Arabia championships, and what I read from it, reading it now, it says Triple H announced that the champions will receive a massive championship ring similar to a Super Bowl ring. He stated that the titles would be staying in Saudi Arabia and that this would be an annual event. So fans would have to wait to see how many rings WWE stars could collect from these matches. So the inaugural championship matches, we saw Liv Morgan defeat Nia Jax with the help from everybody. And we saw Cody Rhodes defeat Gunther via pinfall. So what do y'all feel about those particular matches? What do y'all feel about the format of it, that the titles are staying in Saudi Arabia and superstars are gonna collect rings like similar to Super Bowl rings with it? Something new, I guess, is something. I guess when we clamoring for something new, we gotta kind of see what it kind of means and what it represents and if and how it's gonna matter.
Like all sides of
So
it, yeah.
yeah. I liken it to like the new NBA Cup, right? Where it's like, your team win it and everybody's like, okay, this was whack. What does this really mean? So I think maybe in 5 to 10 years we would start
Yeah.
caring and saying, yo, you know who got the most Saudi rings? I can't imagine myself saying that. That should sound corny. Like, yo,
Yeah.
Cody got 3 Saudi rings, but the Samoan
Word.
werewolf got 2. That should just sound corny, but we'll let her know how you feel about it. Oh,
you hit the nail on the head, corny.
yeah.
It's just something else added to the corniness of what was that pay-per-view called? The PLE called?
Crown Jewel?
Crown Jewel, yeah.
Yeah, Crown Jewel's always going to be corny to me. when they do stuff like that, it seems corny to me. Um, if they going if they gonna put on a PLE at like overseas place like Saudi Arabia, I think they need to stick to putting on a great show. Nobody cares about the belt. It's just more money that Saudi Arabia is putting into
Mm-hmm.
stuff that nobody cares about, including them for
Yeah.
real. Once it's all said and done, I think they should focus on getting a great show for them, which is maybe a Hell in a Cell or Elimination Chamber. Things of that nature need to be thrown in to these
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia events, and they need to stop being so gimmicky. If you go in there with the idea to give these guys a great show, give them a great show.
Yeah.
Forget what's going on with the storylines. Forget all that. Forget all that. Just give them a great show and
Yeah.
call a spade, because the storyline building ain't really doing nothing for a 1 year trip to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, nah, I feel you. But I will ask you this though, ONJ, because I was thinking about that too, and I was like reading the question over in my mind. Remember when these Saudi events first started? It was like we was getting Goldberg versus Undertaker, and then we was
Mm-hmm.
getting like DX versus the Brothers of Destruction. I don't know if y'all remember these
Yeah.
matches, kind of that was
Mm-hmm.
happening. So it do feel like, for me, that that they're not quite where I would want them to be in terms of a PLE, but it do look like they're trying to move away from that like gimmicky nostalgia, because that's what I felt like Crown Jewel was, and that's what I
Yeah.
used to think like the purpose was for, just like those nostalgia matches that people in the Middle East want to see, that us here may not particularly want to pay for, but
Mm.
it do seem like they moving away from those gimmicky, because I hated that DX and that Brothers of Destruction match is one of those matches that I wish WWE would toss out his vote, because to have 4 legends and
Delete
4
that video.
first ballot Hall of Famers in that match, and they all 50 years old, it's kind of like, it's like if we was going to go watch Michael Jordan play Isaiah Thomas right now. Like, like,
Yeah.
yeah, like that shit was fire when we was watching in the 80s and maybe early 90s, but who wanted to see that now? So
A bunch of middies.
that's but how do y'all feel about that though, Jay? Specific, moving to you, how do you feel about that? Or I would love to hear your thoughts as well. Like, do you feel like it's moving out of a gimmicky phase? Like, where do
Yeah.
you feel like it was, where it is, and
I,
kind of?
I I will say that for this year, it definitely felt like they tried. I think that's the key word. They tried. For sure moved away from the gimmicky feel. I felt like they stuck with the names and the storylines that's been
Yeah,
ongoing, and they put those matches in. Um, but as for what O said, I kind of agree. Like I do think that on the one hand, it shouldn't be the Goldberg and then the Undertaker having a match like these just super just old guys. Like we only know them for the name at this point, and we just throwing them in to appease the Saudi crowd. I do agree with O on that one stance of like, okay, maybe it shouldn't be them, but let's throw in the hot names that we have now, the young talent, the guys that's there. Um, but for how it was, I don't fully hate it. The Crown Jewel Championship itself, I feel like it definitely was a PR move. It's like you
yeah,
gotta just keep establishing that relationship with that area with the Saudis. Like that's probably gonna become one of WWE's major like strongholds in the future. Just the concept of the rings was a little weird because my thing is like right like if you the Crown Jewel Championships stay there, right? So everyone competes annually for those titles, but then it's like, okay, how do you determine? We kind of make a competition of like who could get the most rings, right? How do you determine how that even works, right? Because so far it's champion versus champion. So then let's say if Cody Rhodes and Gunther still have the title going into next year, hopefully not, but it would just be them two again. Like it just
yeah,
I don't I
yeah,
think the champion versus champion effect is probably gonna get thrown out at some point. I could definitely see that moving towards like the battle royale type, and then it determines who gets to fight for the championship. But yeah, it's I'm 50-50 on it so far. I do
yeah.
appreciate how much they tried this year. It definitely was a move away from, like you said, the gimmicky feel, but definitely room to be desired. Definitely room to.
Nah, for sure. Anything you wanted to add to that? Oh,
I just think they need to mix the gimmicky stuff with what they did this year. I don't think it need to be like all 50-year-olds in the match, but if they could find a way to put like a Goldberg versus a Sami Zayn or somebody that could kind of carry these guys in some of these matches, I think it would be more indulging for not only fans in Saudi Arabia but for us too, because some fans out here want to see these old guys wrestle still that they missed, like
Yeah.
The Rock, Hunter, Goldberg. That's just the name of few that I could think of off the top of my head. So yeah, I think they if they find a way to mix the old with the new, and not really focus on storyline when they come to Saudi Arabia, they'd be better off. And as far as the Crown Jewel title, I think it's gonna be a confusing growth of that belt ring thing.
Yeah.
I don't even know what's the point of it, being honest. But that's all I gotta say about it.
For sure, and speaking on what's the point of things, we are 2 weeks into this NBA season, and there's a lot of great things to talk about. A lot of great things that happen that we've seen so far. A lot of the things that been disappointing us so far, because there's a couple things I gotta touch on that's been disappointing me so far, and just kind of we're gonna discuss where we see any storylines that we following, anything that we want to continue to see develop. And we're just going to discuss these first 2 weeks of the NBA season. We're going to kick it off with you first. Oh, just let me know what you're feeling. We're going to start with what's been impressive to you so far this season.